6 crushed cloves of garlic, poached in 16 ounces of half and half. Let that gurgle 10 minutes, kill the heat, and put on the lid. After a 30-minute soak, drain your spud cubes and move them into a pot of water that's big enough to hold the potatoes submerged with at least, let's say, 1.5 inches of water to spare. Toss in a couple of tablespoons of salt and put them over high heat. Now, as soon as they come to a boil, back the heat down to low. These potatoes have now been simmering for a good half hour, but that's not what matters. This is what matters. Time to drain. Now, we go with the garlic cream. Yum. Just pour it in all at once. And grab your favorite masher, this is mine, and go to work. Looks like we've made potato soup, but indeed we haven't. All we need is a little bit of thyme and 6 ounces of Parmesan cheese, shredded. Mash this right in and just walk away. Give this 5 minutes and everything will be different, I assure you. Our cranberry sauce begins with 1 pound of fresh cranberries, rinsed thoroughly. While those drain, we will construct the syrup. 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed orange juice, 1/4 cup of 100% cranberry juice, 1 cup of honey, and I'm using clover honey here, I believe. I'm gonna bring this to a boil over medium-high heat and then reduce to a simmer for 5 minutes to concentrate the flavors. Now, enter the cranberries. Cook, stirring often until the berries burst. Now, let's kill the heat. At this point, the pectins are fully active and ready to bind. The problem is, they're a little on the negative side. They don't want to bind with each other, which is why we add an acid, orange juice. That helps to reduce the overall negativity. The problem is then, well, the pectins don't want to bind with each other. They want to bind with water. So we add something even more hygroscopic or water-loving, which is sugar. The sugar takes over the water, leaving the pectins to bind with each other. Use a canning funnel to help with the loading. Of course, if you don't have a canning funnel, you could use, well, anything else that's kind of that shape. There. Stash this in the old chill chest for about, 6 hours. We'll set it, but overnight we'll set it even better. Your patience will be, you can feel free to spice things up at will. You could add nutmeg to the mix, or cloves, ginger. If you make your own sauce, the sky is the limit. One-quarter of a cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, kosher, of course, and 2 tablespoons of Japanese or panko breadcrumbs. With our breading safely assembled, we are ready to cut 2 medium onions. Now just break all the rings up with your fingers and toss. Lube it up with a little no-stick spray and pile on the onions. You want to evenly distribute these so that they will cook evenly. Stash these in a 475-degree oven for 30 minutes and make sure that you toss them thoroughly at least 2 times during the cooking process. The onions are done. That's exactly what you want to see. We'll let these cool and turn the oven down to 400. All right, we have all the components necessary to construct our casserole. We will begin by adding about 1/4 of the onions. Stir that in a little bit and add all of the beans. Just kind of move around the sides of the pan, folding. And kind of smooth out the top bit and bring on the rest of the onions. Just scatter them across. nice and evenly. 400 degrees, 15 minutes, or until nice and bubbly. Now for a basic turkey brine, I like to start with about a gallon of vegetable broth. And don't use the low sodium or no sodium kind. A cup of kosher salt, about half a cup of light brown sugar, about a tablespoon of whole black peppercorns, along with about a half tablespoon each of whole allspice berries, and crystallized or candied ginger. As soon as your brine comes to a boil, give it a couple of stirs just to make sure everything's dissolved, and kill the heat. Let it cool down to room temperature, then refrigerate it until it's completely chilled. You can do this like 2-3 days ahead of time. Just make sure you leave the lid on. Early the morning of the big day or late the night before, add your brine to a large, clean bucket, a gallon of heavily iced water. So just head first, right in there. I'll let this stay in for 6 to 8 hours, and don't worry, as long as you turn this over once about halfway through the brining, the meat will be perfectly seasoned. Just a big chunk of rosemary, maybe 2, right into the cavity, along with sage, half of an onion, and a red apple that I've microwaved on high for about 5 minutes in some water. And I'm gonna add to that a cinnamon stick. Don't worry about neatness, it doesn't count on this one. Just get everything in there. How do you really know when your bird is done? The answer lies in our little probed friend. You wanna make sure that the probe goes into the deepest part of the white meat. How do you thoroughly cook dark meat, which we like at about 180 degrees, without overcooking the white meat, which we like to pull at about 161? The answer is the turkey triangle. And the secret is to form fit it before you actually knead it. Just rub a little canola oil on the inside so that it doesn't stick. And then just mold it to the breast, kind of like a breastplate in a bad Wagner opera, like that. There. Now the last step before we go into the oven is a quick canola rub down. We have our 500-degree oven, and I like to put my turkeys in legs first. So I'm gonna use the timer function of this bad boy, set for 30 minutes. Time for the turkey triangle. Our pre-tailored turkey triangle goes on, and back in she goes. Oven goes down to 350 degrees. Since the cooking ain't over till the fat thermometer sings, you wanna keep this door closed. And we've just crossed the 161 magic line. Exactly what we want. Now the temperature inside the bird will continue to increase for at least a few minutes, so don't cut into this and don't pull out the pop-up thermometer. You just want to let it rest. Cover this with something to keep it cozy. You could use an inverted stainless steel bowl or even a big tin of foil, but I find that the lid from my kettle grill wards off all poachers. Hey, fella, that's a nice looking turkey. But hey, you're not gonna carve that right now, are you? Before you've made the, you know what? Oh, come on. No gravy? For shame. Please tell me you didn't wash the roasting pan. Oh, well, thank goodness for that. Come on, let's hit the gravy. Place that roasting pan over medium heat using 2 burners if the pan is big enough. Then, as soon as it's hot, deglaze the bottom with 24 ounces of reduced or low sodium chicken broth and 8 ounces of red wine. As the liquid boils and reduces, scrape the bottom to loosen and dissolve any flavorful bits that may be stuck there. Then, pour the liquid into a fat separator, also called a gravy separator, which is a device that you really ought to have if gravy is something that you plan on making. It will allow the fat to separate out to the top, where of course it naturally wants to go, and then you can pour out the flavorful liquid from below. Now, since we are going to save that, we'll just pour that off into a waiting measuring cup. Watch out, yeah. There you go. There, you just have the fat. Of course, a little bit of the liquid will remain, and that'll hiss when it hits the still hot pan, but that's okay. So the fat goes into the pan. Now, As for the thickening agent, we will add 1/3 of a cup of plain old all-purpose flour. And you're gonna wanna whisk that like crazy. Now, coating the flour granules with fat will keep the gravy from lumping, and the heat will cook out that raw cereal flavor. Got it? All right, keep whisking until that mixture starts to smooth out and thicken just a little bit. Good. There. Now bring the reserved liquid into play and continue whisking. As that comes to a boil, those flour granules will gelatinize, thus thickening the liquid. There you have it. Now, finish that up with a tablespoon of fresh herbs like thyme, rosemary, or oregano, or any combination thereof. Now remember, the gravy, which looks pretty good now, see, coats the back of a spoon. That's called nappe, don't you know? Now, if this is going to go into a gravy boat, you'll probably want to pull it when it's still a little bit on the loose side, because as it cools, it is going to thicken a little bit. But if you're really a gravy fan, you'll skip the gravy boat altogether and simply go with a nice big thermos. Sure, your dining room will look a little bit like a construction site, but hey, that's the price of cuisine. Now, when it comes time to serve, some people pour directly onto the bird and carve. Some like it on the, hey, what are you doing there, fella? No, tell me you are not going to, oh my, the humanity. No, I'm telling you, as your cardiologist, you can't, oh, that's a gravy aficionado. Turn your oven to 350 degrees. Nice. Now, to make the crust, load 6 ounces of ginger snaps along with a tablespoon of dark brown sugar and a teaspoon of ground ginger into your food processor. Spin that until it reaches a crumb consistency and then pulse while drizzling in an ounce of melted butter. There, that is the consistency you're looking for. Now just dump that into a 9-inch glass pie dish. Kind of push it down into the corners and then use a metal pie pan pressed down on top to form the crust shape. There, that's a nice trick. All right, center your pie dish on a sheet pan and blind bake, that is, cook empty, for 10 minutes. Time to turn our attention to the pie filling. Bring a pound of pumpkin puree to a simmer just over medium heat and let that cook for 2 to 3 minutes or until it just slightly thickens up. Then work in a cup of half and half, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and it needs to be freshly grated. I mean it. Stir, bring back to a simmer, should take about a minute, then kill the heat and let it cool for 10 minutes. In the meantime, whisk together 2 large eggs and 1 egg yolk with 3/4 of a cup of dark brown sugar until it is very, very smooth, like that. Then retrieve the rest of the filling, which should be down to about 140 degrees now, and slowly incorporate, whisking continuously. Now here's where things can get really messy. Leave the crust on the pan and put it back on the oven rack. Then move the filling to a measuring cup or something with a spout and add thusly. Do not be surprised if you have some filling left over. I usually do. Don't fill beyond this point. Slowly move that into the oven and bake 45 to 60 minutes or until the center is just jiggly. That's about 195 degrees in the center and 205 around the edges. That's just what you want to see. Now let the pie cool for 3 hours before refrigerating or slicing for service. Me, I like just a little simple whipped cream on top.